How you going? It's James here, your Upgrade Me mentor. Today I want to answer the question, how do I stop worrying about what people think about me? And I think this is something we all do all the time, and it actually creates a huge amount of anxiety and stress in our lives that's unnecessary. So listen up. So how do I stop worrying about what people think of me? You know, I think this is an issue for a lot of us. You know, it creates a lot of social anxiety. It creates a lot of second guessing, and it really saps our confidence. And the way I like to address it is to get down to the foundations of your self-confidence. And a guy called Henri Neuwen, he wrote quite a lot of books. He's passed away now, but he's really good if you want to check him out. And he made a really profound statement that I use a lot in my own personal thinking. He said, I am not what I do, I'm not what people say I am, and I am not what I achieve, but I simply am. And I think that is the foundation for our self-confidence. When we are living a life based on what people think of us, you know, and that's hard not to do with social media, it's hard not to do with peer groups and friendships and relationships. It's hard not to live a life based on what other people think. It's hard not to get our value from external sources. And the biggest one probably is, for me especially, has been, what do people think about me? How do people value me? That's the source of security that's so vulnerable to change and creates so much anxiety, and it goes to the heart of this question. So what we've got to do is we've got to ask ourselves, you know, who am I? Well, what am I? In our development as children, it's been shown that for the first 7 years we identify very strongly with our mothers, and even as babies we actually can't even discern subconsciously the difference between us and our mothers. We can't even identify the difference between us and objects that we have. You know, you just try and grab a toy off a toddler and they'll think you're ripping their arm off, because they've so associated that object with who they are that they can't tell the difference. They can't tell the difference between their mother and them. When you see a little toddler reaching out and they're angry at their mother because their mother's not doing what they want. They can move their arm, you know, and their foot and things and bring it to their mouth, but they can't seem to control this big object that they think's them. And that actually continues for our life, and we actually subconsciously struggle to identify the difference between us and others. And this process of separating between us and others is called individuation. Individuation is a really important process to go through. Individuation is basically understanding that people's opinions of me, or what people think of me, isn't me. A really good example of this, when I was a teenager, and all of us would have experienced something like this, is my parents, you know, like most teenagers, bought the clothes. They had the money, and my dad used to have this, he had this fashion sense that I just did not gel with, you know, and I was just deeply embarrassed by the clothes that I would have to wear, but they had the money, and so I had to wear it, and I would go out, and because I didn't think the clothes were cool or fitted in, I didn't feel like I fitted in, and so my external objects, my clothes, and the way people responded to me in my peer group was so important that I identified myself with that particular, with their opinion and with those objects. And that's a root problem to a lot of social insecurity. We have associated our personal value and security and sense of worth with what a group of people think. As I was saying, we identify with, from 0 to 7, we identify with our mothers strongly. From 7 to 14, we identify strongly with our fathers, and then from 14 to 21, or even past that, we are very strongly identifying with our peer group, with our friend group. You know, I can see that with my son. You know, he's always on his phones, and he's just socially connecting with, like, who knows how many people at once, and he just walks in and comes to visit, and I don't even get like a hi, and it's because that's who he belongs to. That's where he's getting his sense of identity from. And that's okay at that stage, that's totally normal. But if you carry on that strong identification with other, thinking that others' opinion of you is you, not even be able to tell the difference between those things, you're going to become socially anxious. You're going to become you're going to remain undifferentiated. Now, differentiation, or individuation as it's called, is a lifelong process, and some of us don't ever achieve it. But individuation is the process of separating me from the other. And if you meet a truly individuated person, that's a special thing. That's a special thing. That person can interact with you in a healthy way. You know, they can have a different opinion of you. They're not swayed by your opinion, but they're also respectful and loving. So individuation is really the process that you need to go through to move away from social anxiety or worrying about what people think of you. Another example from my life of having this false attachment to other people's value is with my people pleasing, which I've talked about a bit in the past. And I've found that because I was so worried what other people thought about me, and I was so subconsciously and emotionally attuned to people's responses to my behaviour or to me, I was unable to be authentic. I was always anticipating people's needs and trying to meet them, and I wasn't able to be who I really was. And that sets you up for failure, because you resent when they reject you anyway. You resent not being real, and you lose motivation and direction in life. You lose energy in life because you're constantly not being who you are, and not being yourself is a loss of purpose in life. You are here on this earth to be who you are, in reality. If you can't be who you are in reality, you always feel like a fake. You feel like you've got a shiny, glittery image, a false persona that you're always putting to the world, a mask. And that mask is uncomfortable and draining. It's exhausting. And I used to go through social interactions where I was subconsciously, I wasn't even just trying to be what would fit in and what would be liked, and just being exhausted after a period of social. And I'm an extrovert, I love being social, but I just feel drained because I wasn't being myself. And it's only, recently, in the last few years, I've realized that false persona, that lack of authenticity, meant that the friends I had didn't really know who I was. And so, what was the point? I can be who I am now, and some people will like it and some people won't, but at least the people that do like it will be authentic friends who actually know me. And so that's the process. So where do I get my source of security from if I'm not getting it from my friends or possessions? Or what's wrong with getting it from your friends' possessions and achievements? Well, the main problem is, friends leave you. Friends move away, or they just find other friends or other interests. Possessions rust, they get lost, they wear out. Achievements fade away. Those things are not a secure foundation. So what is a secure foundation? Well, the secure foundation, for me, and I think for everybody, is that you are a unique expression of creation. You're a unique expression of God. You have within you something that nothing else in the universe has expressed. You're the eyes of the universe. If the universe has produced you, and you are looking back on it, beholding it in your own unique way, that is special. That is something that is hugely valuable and rare. I think about my value as being intrinsic value, like gold. Gold is intrinsically valuable. It's valuable because it is gold. You can make it into a ring, you can make it into a beautiful piece of jewellery, but the fact that it's gold is its value. Not so much its shape. Its shape it adds to its value, but even if you melted it down, it's still valuable. Same with me. Intrinsically, I have value. I manifest that value in all sorts of different ways, and achievements and interactions with people, and that's lovely, and that adds value to the world, and that manifests, it manifests creation in a special way. But intrinsically, I am valuable. So much more than the sum of my achievements, my possessions, and my friends. You are too. All of us are. So you build your self-confidence inside out, not outside in. And as children, teenagers, young 20s, and 40s for me, we achieve our value from external sources, and that's okay to a point. But if it's going to last, it's got to be inside out confidence. It's got to be deep down. I'm okay. I'm a valuable person. I have the right to live. I have the right to belong.